emergency repairs, vehicle diagnostics, emergency breakdowns, and so much more. We're fast, we're reliable, and we're affordable. Call us now on 0810-694-1823 or send us a WhatsApp message on 0803-269-7653. You can also visit www.fastmeco.com, and don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms on Fastmeco on Facebook, X, and TikTok. On Instagram, we are at Fastmeco. Fastmeco, keeping you moving anytime, anywhere. Fastmeco, your car's best friend on the road.
Malaria palava, malaria wahala. Sick today, fever tomorrow. Mama, she dey run kitty kata. Brother, make you make the right choice with Kezatem. Give malaria woto. With Kezatem, give malaria woto. Kezatem, in on the tear pocket. Malaria go here and malaria go collect. Kezatem, give malaria woto.
꽌satem, a combination of artemether and lumefantrine. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your medical doctor. 꽌satem, your right choice for malaria treatment. Marketed by Kensington Global Synergy Limited. Please call our hotline on 0708 140 2414 for further inquiries.
Hello, Male. How you doing now?
I did, my pikin.
Male, wait. Should make I call you back? You sure say your credit go reach this guy too?
Don't worry yourself. Now MTN better gist I dey use.
Who no like better thing? Just go buy new MTN SIM so MTN go dash you 2,100 naira airtime sharply, and on top that one, every call where you make, whether na 3 minutes for this call or na 1 minute on top another call, e go dey join dey go. And once you gather reach 6 minutes, MTN go sama you 3 minutes extra. Make you for continue that better gist. Or ya dial *123*2*1# to join MTN better gist today. Terms and conditions dey sha o.
Ta ló wà ńbẹ̀ o?
Bàbá àgbà èmi ni.
Ọmọ mi, bó o ní nǹkan?
Dáadáa ni bàbá àgbà, ẹ fún mi ní Miracle Sweet.
Ẹyọ kan péré náà ní sí à ń bẹ lọ́ọ̀ tèmi. Mo sì fẹ́ láti ń bá jẹun tán ni. Lọ́ọ̀dọ̀ bàbá rẹ̀ yóò fún nìkan.
Ó bàbá àgbà ẹ fún mi jọ.
Kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀?
Bàbá àgbà wọn ò fẹ́ fún mi ní Miracle Sweet.
Bàbá mi ṣẹlẹ̀ fún mi lówó kí n fi ra Miracle Sweet.
Wò ó, bí bàbá àgbà ṣe máa ń fi nǹkan pamọ́ ní gbogbo ìgbà nìyẹn.
Má dá lóhùn ọjà ìgbà ń tiẹ̀.
Ẹ ṣé bàbá àgbà.
Wo bí mo ṣe máa ń bá bàbá rẹ náà ṣeré ńgbà kékeré nù.
Miracle Sweet láti iléeṣẹ́ Sweetco Foods Limited ó ti wà tipẹ́ lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà táwọn èèyàn sì fẹ́ràn láti máa là.
Miracle Sweet mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ̀.
Miracle Sweet ohun àmúyangàn orílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà.
Everybody say yeah. Celebration don't come again, no. The biggest Afrobeat music festival in Africa don't reach again, no. This now the 25th edition. The theme of this year on na Shakara. With more than 500 performing music stars all over Obodo Africa. Celebration 2025 go kick off from Lagos with pre-event activities such as Afrobeat dance competition on the 4th of October 2025 at New Africa Shrine. Time na 12 p.m. Other activities will go follow. Na dress for live fashion competition on the 5th of October 2025 for Freedom Park. Time na 4 p.m. October 8, 2025 na Celebration Senior Secondary Schools debate for the same Freedom Park. Time na 10 a.m. E never finish o. The annual Fellas debate go day on the 13th of October 2025 at Neka Hall. Time na 10 a.m. Then the main Lagos concert go follow till 19th October, where go carry festival train enter different cities like Ibadan, Freedom Park, Tokyo, plus including plenty other places around the world. This year will be big. This year will be bigger than ever. See you at Celebration 2025. People wey dey sponsor this ogbonge event na Lagos State Government, Lagos State Ministry of Tourism and Culture, Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Authority, Chelsea London Dry Gin, Guinness Nigeria PLC, Origin Beer, Fearless Energy, Checkers, Just Foods, The Plugs, and Street Media. Everybody shout yeah!
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
Knowledge is power. Information is key, and that is why we aim to unlock the doors of opinion, unveiling the stories that need to be told. The Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. as we invoke the thought-provoking discussion, tackle the tough questions, challenge assumption, and give a voice to the unheard. This is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome on board the Morning Express.
Good morning.
You are listening to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Good morning.
A fantastic morning to you. Beautiful morning. Thursday, the 2nd in the month of October 2025. I want to believe it's not too late to still say a happy new month to you. And of course, yesterday was the 1st of October, which marks the 65th independence for Nigeria, for every Nigerians, and also marking our 4th anniversary right at Mainland 98.3 FM. I mean, multiple celebrations, and of course we hope that we'll, as much as we experience life, always have the reason to celebrate. Good morning to you. This is Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos, and this is where Morning Express happen right from 5 a.m. all down to 11 a.m. Would make sure that we get your morning, set it quite well, and make it even a better one, as we take you through several issues, several stories, updates, trends we have in our dailies, give analyses, rub minds together and give our contributions on several issues that we have in our papers. So you're welcome on board to Trend in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Tʀᴇ Psalmon, and let me just quickly seize this opportunity to appreciate all our listeners for your doggedness. Thank you very much. From year 1 all down to year 4, and of course the celebration still continues. You can still always logged into our social media platform. We still have lots of goodies to share. Our activities still continue. Even today we have a roundtable discussion where we'll be having special guests in our midst, talk about insecurity and social justice and bridging the gap and fixing the future, which will be anchored by Okoyemi Akinyode later today at 12 to 2. And so you don't want to miss all of that, so just keep listening. And as much as we have promised that even in the 4th year and more years to come, will definitely bring profound content for you at every point in time. You're welcome on board once again, and we'll be joined by Side Forward to give analysis to the several issues, the trends we have, developing story, news stories, and what the dailies have in stock for us this morning. And as well, you can join us live on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM to see what's going on just live in the studio. And you can also listen via Radio Garden at Mainland 98.3 FM. Download at either Apple Store or Play Store and download the the radio app rather, and then you can listen to us wherever. Location will definitely or cannot be a barrier. You can also listen via website www.mainlandfm.com. Yeah, quite right. All right, we have Side Forward on the other side. Good morning, Side Forward.
Yeah, Lady Mo, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Good morning. Hope you had a restful night.
Yeah, a good one. It was a good one. Thank you.
Right, and happy celebration once again. It's the 2nd day of our year. Right.
We thank God for everything.
Right, we thank God for life. Anyways, we pray to always have the cause to celebrate. Like you always mentioned, to take care of ourselves. And since there is life, there is still hope. You mentioned yesterday that it's still not a hopeless situation. We can always, bring out something good out of what we have at the moment. So you're welcome on board, Side Forward, once again.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's kickstart without further ado. We have a couple of issues, updates on the developing story. Let's start from the rift and feud between the Pengassan and Dangote refinery, of course, due to the rift they had of the sacking of over a mass transfer and sacking of union members, while also replacing some Nigerians with foreign nationals, claiming but of course the Dangote refinery had claimed over time, consistently denying that claim, and so it's brought about strike from Pengassan, and so they had to go on strike. But fortunately, the federal government had mediators which had to interfere immediately. For about 800 staff of Dangote refinery, it has been resolved that the disengaged staff should be recalled and be deployed to other companies within the Dangote group. We had in attendance the NSA, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy. We had the Budgets and Economic Planning Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Petroleum Resource Guard, represented by the Permanent Secretary and the Ministry of Petroleum Resource. We also had other people in attendance, actually. And so they have been... the Pengassan had said, well, they are still temporarily, they would accept it because some of the conditions still has some loopholes and all of that. Just giving summary to that so that we don't, get it too much. This has been a continuous conversation. We're just giving updates on what we have as at now. So after the intervention of the federal government, they have been able to resolve that, the recalling of the 800 sacked staff, and, they signed some agreements so everything can be, and also to suspend the strike. But this morning, the Punch also, because definitely the suspended strike had come up with an effect, which the NNPCL Group Chief Executive Officer is saying this morning, lamenting the crude and gas production losses, which is as a result from the 3-day strike that was carried out by Pengassan. And so in a written letter to the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority and the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, he said that according to the group executive, that's Ojulari, he said that the suspended strike had led to 16% oil production. And so, he had to mention, the effect of this strike, just the 3 days that we have, let alone if we now go ahead to disrupt production and even supply in the oil sector side forward. What's your reaction to this and the update and the development we have as at now?
Well, the negative effects of an industrial action of that scale should not come to anyone as a surprise. So it wasn't anything of a surprise when the group and the CEO of the NNPCL has said that, look, we lost some huge amounts of money, especially when it comes to the shutting down of, gas supply to the facility, the things would have done with the exportation of crude oil, blah, 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 and all of that, and the fact that, again, the power sector had to suffer some losses. So, all around, that was going to happen, and that's why it's always said that, look, strike action should be the last option. It should always be the last option when every other option to mediate fails. It's not always the first thing you do, but in this instance, the union leaders thought it was the wise thing to do. There was an industrial dispute. Let's just shut down everything because we had thought that, look, our members were being treated unfairly. So be that as it may, I think that is well established, and it is just what it is. Now, on the issue of the truce, as mediated by the federal government between Dangote and Pengassan, let's ask ourselves, who are the greatest losers now in all of this crisis? Now, what does the agreement say? At least the major part of the agreement is that, look, those 800 workers should be recalled, but they should be recalled and redeployed to other companies within the Dangote group. That's why I find yourself working in Dangote flour. I'm just asking. And to make matters worse for you, they post you to the security department.
Contrary to
they will pay you because the agreement is that, look, all the terms of engagement, I'm sure it's majorly about salary and benefits. Look, any employer that wants to deal with such a staff would deploy you to a place where you'll be redundant, you'll be useless, and they'll still pay you that amount of money and your benefit. It is by you yourself, you will now resign. You don't understand what I'm saying?
Right.
For example, I was working in the print media. And there was a very particular publisher that did something to an editor. A whole editor, he moved the man from the editorial desk to the printing press to go and be counting paper. And they were still paying him the same salary of an editor, and in fact, they still gave him an official car.
A full editor.
But the job was to go and count paper in the press.
A full editor that come up with a story, and then you are now.
The man did not last 2 weeks before he said, I know they do again. You understand what I'm saying? So, again, you see, some of these things require a lot of some level of intelligence, and a lot of times, I tell people, sometimes you have to use the doctrine of individualism. Sorry for those workers. In a private organization, it's only going to be silly when you think that being a member of a union and all of these things are no pay. At the end of the day, the union leaders are more after all those union dues and all of these benefits that comes with. The more the merrier for them.
They dismissed the claim that it was not because of check of dues.
I'm sure Dangote voluntarily conceded to this agreement. But to what end? And at what end now, particularly for the workers? Yes, because there's a way you will still be within a system and they force it. You yourself will know that they're after you, but you can't complain because nobody will be talking to you. You understand what I'm saying? They will pay you the money. You think Dangote does not have the salary to pay them? The initial report we got was that, look, these guys working for the union had become some form of internal sabotage for the refinery. Those were the reports we got. And so the man said I was organizing, I needed to move these guys out of my refinery and get people who will be more committed to doing my job the way I want them to do it. I pay them the salary, I raise the funds to set up these things. So, at least normalcy has returned because we are beginning to see some scarcity yesterday. I think most of the filling stations are open now and we can have normalcy return. So good luck to those workers who will be recalled by Dangote and redeployed to other companies within the Dangote group. And let's just have some normalcy back to the oil and gas sector. It's a deregulated sector, so let's see what regulation brings.
Intervention of the federal government, we have to just respect them. If anything,
you know what they should do. You know the alternative for them.
Yeah.
All the unions should come together to go and find a way to fund building a refinery, and they can run it the way they want to run it. There's nothing that stops the union members. Yeah, these are big boys, especially the Pengasson. I know they are the senior staff workers within the oil and gas sector. So in between them and the other dark man, there's a lot of man-made problem in that sector. So between man, dark man, ip man, Petron, you understand? Yeah. They can all come together with Lupeng and Pengasson, all of them. If the regulators want to join them too, they should raise money to build a refinery too and run it the way they want to run it.
Right. And not frustrate.
You understand what I'm saying? You not to come and frustrate somebody
who has over the years tried to, what's in 65
And this is not to say that workers don't have rights that should be protected. In our extant laws, Lady Mo, there are laws within, the constitution that protects the rights of workers, Nigerian workers. It's not only if you are working in the oil and gas sector. Right. Violated, you can go to the industrial court or find ways to seek redress.
Right.
So let's have normalcy return and let everybody go back to work.
Right, all is well. Well, page 2 captures that specifically in the Punch newspaper. We also have that across board. The Guardian captures that saying Dangote's rift with Pengasson unfortunate. Okay, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria also gave their perspective. Page 3 captures theirs in the Guardian newspaper. The Vanguard also captures that very story. Pengasson suspending strike after federal government intervention. Page 8 captures that very story. All right, back to the stories. The Punch newspaper is still talking about, from the business page, still quickly before we move out from the business page, the Nigeria's 8-month debt service bill has hit 2.86 billion naira. That's according to the CBN. That Nigeria has spent a total of $2.86 billion servicing external debts in the first 8 months of 2025, according to the international payment data from the Central Bank of Nigeria on Wednesday, yesterday. And these accounted for 69.1% of the country's total foreign payments of $4.14 billion in the period. And they gave breakdown of each month right from I beg your pardon, from January to date. And majorly what the this figure is just showing that despite spending nearly $200 million less on debt this year compared to last year, that debt still accounted for the overwhelming majority of the foreign exchange outflows, and that this high ratio of debt service to total foreign payments highlights, Nigeria's vulnerability, as nearly 3/4 of its international outflows are being channeled into debt repayments rather than, critical imports or investments. Right? What are the interpretation of this into the effect of our economy?
Well, I think it's too much of figures and data, but again, not to get ourselves, confused by this too many, calculations here and there. Good. Again, this is just to show our debt situation. The CBN giving us figures of what is used to service our debt, mostly external debts, and I think it should just be pointed out to the fact that we need to have some caution. We need to apply some brake in the way we are applying for these foreign loans, this external debt. And it's not even helped by the fact that we are still not having the kind of stability we want with our foreign exchange.
Right.
Stability because, again, we are still able to peg it. Whether you like it or not, behind the scenes, there's still a lot of work that is being done, interventions that are being done to steady the dollars. It's not how do I put it? Because the thing is about liquidity, but we know that interventions are happening. And if major stakeholders keep telling us that the little stability we have with foreign exchange now is because the CBN is ensuring that at regular intervals there are interventions in terms of providing artificial liquidity to steady the dollars. So, but at the end of the day, we hope that things will improve. We hope that we can also begin to look at revenue sources that will not impinge too much on the well-being of Nigerians to now begin to reduce our level of borrowing, especially when it comes to some of these external borrowings.
All right. Well, page 30 captures that precisely from in the Punch newspaper. Let's go to Rivers State quickly, still with the Punch. Rivers State Governor, according to reports we got, sacked all commissioners and other public office holders that are serving in his administration. And this is coming according to a statement that was issued. He followed the recent Supreme Court judgment. And so the governor, during the government house in Port Harcourt, had to thank the outcomes of Nigerians' independence, called on Nigerians to work together with the president to build a peaceful and secure, prosperous country and a brighter future for all. But the sum of the story is just the fact that all commissioners has been immediately sacked from office. Side forward.
I don't know. I don't know. It carries weight.
Right.
But basically, there has been a Supreme Court judgment. It's not even a recent judgment. There's been a Supreme Court judgment on the fact that all of the appointments he made without the Martin Amaewhule House of Assembly approval.
Approving them.
So basically, this was going to eventually happen. If Mubarak could not save himself from suspension, how would he have saved this appointee? You understand? So coming back, I'm even surprised that this is just happening, and they had to do it with a valedictory service. These guys should have just gone home quietly to nurse their pain and sorrow and humiliation. Because at the end of the day, the reason why they are no longer going to hold this position is because they might not even make the weekly list.
Right.
At the end of the day, all the new commissioners and appointees are all going to be ratified by the Godfather himself in Abuja. Yes. The new assembly said should submit a list.
Right.
I'm sure they already have a list. The copy of the list they give to him is what they want him to submit. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about the governor now.
Yeah.
Because immediately the assembly resumed, they said, can you submit the list of commissioners, and all of that so that we can do our job to ratify that list. But I think that there must have been a list while the negotiations were going on. So the copy of the list they gave to him is what they are telling him to officially submit to fulfill all righteousness. So it's still victory for the Godfather, it's defeat for democracy, defeat for the people of Rivers State. Let's move to other stories.
All is well. Anyway, sometimes when we speak about governance and dividends of democracy, it births some questions. But page 3 captures that in the Punch newspaper. Away from that, this very unfortunate incident that happened. We have a newly inducted radiographer, Bashira Ojede, who has been abducted by kidnappers while she was traveling from Sokoto State to Osun State to resume an internship. And so the kidnappers are demanding 200 million naira before a release from the family. And this is just even coming barely 1 week after a newly called to bar lawyer, Uduka Onyesom, was also kidnapped alongside with her sister, that's Gift, while they were returning from the ceremony. And so reports showed yesterday from a family source of the victim who had pleaded anonymity that she was returning to Oshogbo to resume her internship with one of the state-owned hospitals when she was abducted. And so they said that she was abducted into inducted into the professional. And now they are demanding 200 million naira side forward in the midst of what we have on ground.
Very unfortunate. And that's the story of Nigeria and Nigerians at this time when we talk about insecurity. And we see, when we see these kinds of stories, it probably does not really affect us like the immediate family members of these victims. They are the ones that all of
you say, pardon me, any kolomo. It's who that is happening to, that you understand the weight of what is happening. Yeah,
it has happened to you, and if you look at it critically, why you see family members of kidnapped victims running helter-skelter, doing everything possible to quickly get them out of that situation, is that, look, apart from the trauma of the calls you keep getting from these guys, who probably, are assaulting the person, abusing the person, you're also afraid that the person could just lose his or her life. Because one of the things that could happen in a kidnap situation is that, look, it could go wrong very quickly. We've had people who were kidnapped in the past, they paid ransom and they were still murdered by the kidnappers.
A 50-50 situation.
It's even worse than 50-50. It's worse than 50-50. It's almost like an 80-20 chance of you surviving it. Because these guys are desperate. They can do and undo. So I'm hoping, again, we are praying for this person, the radiographer coming from Sokoto to Osun State to resume. He also is it the lawyer, right?
Yeah,
the other second person.
Yeah, just barely one lawyer. Just called to bar. Yes.
Yeah. So we are just praying for them, and while we do our own part to pray and bring out these things and call the attention of government to these issues and call for them to be more serious and proactive and take politics away, I am hoping that on the daily briefings of the president, they tell him some of these things. And I also hope that, look, at least in the minimum, the president wakes up every day to read the papers. I am hoping, I think that should even be the standard, that, look, as he resuming for work, whether from his bed, before he does anything, somebody drops the papers before him. If he's not able to read through everything, at least he can flip through. And some of these things should at least say one or two things to him, as the president, commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who has sought the mandate of the people to govern them with the priority of protecting lives and properties of the people. We cannot continue to run our lives like this. It is this radiographer today, it could be any of us tomorrow, unless we don't move around in this country. Look at the case of Sonto, and that speaks to the level of insecurity we have in the country. Again, this is not about politics. This is about governance. We beg Mr. President, can we see some real governance when it comes to the issue of insecurity in Nigeria?
Well, God help us, really, because sometimes, especially when it now comes to even the security's efforts in this, when you lose your phone, there's a way that they can't track the phone to whoever has the phone with him, maybe from the thief. Well, it gets difficult.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you how bad our situation is, Lady Mo. I was having a conversation, I think a day or two ago, with Joseph Fᴜဃᴜ, and he was telling me that the homicide department in one of our police formations in the country don't even have a tracking department. They have a tracking department, but they don't have a tracker. So what they do is to give it to people to know. But in reality, we have a systemic failure. It's a complete collapse. But because nobody is committed to anything, nobody focuses on anything. It's almost like a banana republic. It's about corruption. When you find yourself in a position where we are not running a country, we are just deceiving ourselves. We are so delusional about it, we live in denial about it. But we know amongst ourselves that in reality this is not how to run a country.
All is well. Well, just to quickly roll out some other headlines we have in the Punch newspaper. Experts are saying amidst the speech of the president, he wrote out the several reforms, effect of the reform so far, it had yielded, proceeds it had yielded so far. But experts are saying even with the efforts of the reforms, we are yet to see, or is yet to ease the hardship and the numbers, the figures that we have so far that we can relate to it. Also from the front page, we have one doctor attends to 9,083 Nigerians. NAD is lamenting this very issue. And also EFCC, 853 billion naira crime proceeds recovered in 1 year. They're giving reports right there. And page 3 also captures that very story. Also page 3 has the story, Nigerians languish in prison after Ethiopia stalls MOU. And also from that in the Guardian newspaper, page 30, that Tinubu and Ododo mourn as victims of Kogi boat mishap rise to 26. I think we had this very conversation. I heard this in the conversation about this boat mishap that sometimes is caused by the people that are involved, that they carry loads, they overload the boats. When you cross over, you go to the other side with cows, bags of whatever.
We've had reported cases in Niger. I think Niger is almost like
even Sokoto, yeah.
And because again, life has become very cheap in Nigeria. So we have the figures. Nobody really cares. It just goes into the news. We read it. We move on. But there have been this consistent pattern of both mishap, both capsizing, people dying in their numbers. If you understand what I'm saying. So it's just about the fact that again, water transportation is a complete mess in the country, really. Nobody regulates anything. So you have the locals in their rickety boats transporting people on Nigerian waters. And so if anything happens, people just die, just move on. Go out of the boat. Water was seeping in, up on Mijadi.
Wow.
Wow. That's the way that, and I told the guy, why is that? No, that's the way we do it. Yes, now. Go to most of the parts where you have this water transportation among the locals. As they are moving people, you will be seeing water coming from under the way there's nothing. If it gets too much, and the thing will continue to move. Somebody is the life jacket. Are you not supposed to have a life jacket?
Right.
Or when you are water? Have you noticed that most of the life jackets is just to put something on your neck? There is no jacket anywhere. There's even no life in the jacket to start with.
to save your life.
So again, it's just about the fact that nobody cares. The local authorities that are supposed to check these things, the the safety commission in the respective states, the units that are supposed to be, water transportation is supposed to be regulated, right?
Right.
So we are the regulators to ensure that the right things are being done. You are on your own. Take care of yourself. And that's why, for me, I keep telling people, I will not risk water transportation in Nigeria, no matter what anybody tells me.
It's still safe now. It's safe because even
I'm from Lagos, so but you're not going to put me in an undue risk situation.
Right.
I've been on water in other countries, so you almost want to sleep. It's almost as if you are in an aeroplane, a ferry service somewhere in this world. And those people are not angels. They are not supernatural human beings. They are just people who do the right thing.
Well, all is well. All is well, really. Government of plotting to sell NNPCL. Now, the ADC had accused this administration of President Bola Tinubu to privatize the NNPCL. This was, made available at a press conference in Abuja yesterday while marking the Nigeria 65th independence anniversary. And so the ADC National Publicity Secretary Malam Bolaji Abdullahi said that the party fully aligns with oil unions in rejecting the proposed amendment to the Petroleum Industry Act, that's the PIA, an alleged move to sell the NNPC's equity in high-performing joint ventures to cronies and proxies. And they also argue that such a move would undermine Nigeria's energy sovereignty. It will weaken its ability to stabilize fuel supply and also surrender the lifeblood of the economy to profit-driven private entities.
It's just what it is. We are in trouble. And it's not a new thing. This is not the first time that a government in Nigeria will be planning to sell a stake in a national asset or to sell it outrightly. And for every one that has been done in the past, maybe more, it has been fraught with corruption. On most of these national assets that were sold in the past were sold to themselves through proxies and all manner of corrupt arrangements. I will not go into the details, but we will all have the details.
Right.
Of how people in government, I'm not in the mood to begin to mention those assets and the names and all of things that have happened. But we all know what happened in the past. Now, the most critical aspect of our lives now that is remaining, because most of the others have been sold or cornered in the name of sales to privatization to friends and cronies of people in government. Now, our joint venture interest in the oil has no stake.
Right.
So it's not just about the refinery alone. We have all manner of joint venture arrangements, especially when it comes to oil well, exploration of crude oil, especially in the upstream sector of the oil and gas sector. This is the issue. It's not the problem. Privatization is not even a problem, because there are people that will argue that it helps with efficiency, it creates jobs, it reduces the corruption tendencies, blah blah blah, and all of that. But this idea of people in government selling national assets to themselves, using proxies, undervaluation, and all manner of self practices is the reason why I think we're in trouble. All the assets we sold in the past, where are the proceeds of those assets? The ones we sold. I'll give you very few examples. Let us even just leave it ourselves to Lagos. It was a national thing. All the federal government properties in Ikoyi, Ikeja GRA, Yaba GRA, that were sold in the past, where are the proceeds? What did we do with them? They move. The 1004 in Ikoyi, that was a place for civil servants, so a federal government asset. It was sold. Bit of flat, including 2-3 bedroom, 1 bedroom apartments that belonged to the federal government, was sold, still officiate. The federal government secretariat is there. The old Doba Hotel that was built for Festa 77, they've changed it. Who valued it? How much did we sell it? Where are those monies? And a whole lot of, I cannot even mention it, it's in the thousands of all manner of assets of the government that were sold. And we see that it's accusing the federal government. A lot of the people who are in the coalition also have questions to answer on this same matter.
Of course. It's the previous...
it's same of the same at the end of the day. Now, same. That's why we are even telling the ADC, it's not enough to just put statements out. You still need to convince Nigerians that the baggages that some of your members have is not what they are going to come and do again. Should they have the opportunity to govern us again? Because that's why I said we're in trouble. If you look left, right, center.
Well, side forward. That's also in the Guardian newspaper. Moving ahead, just quickly, the Guardian is also capturing, since you have come to Lagos State, Lagos State government defending the demolition at trade fair, which we earlier talked about or reported about, so 2023 general election. That's Peter Obi when he visited the trade fair complex where some structures were recently demolished. And so in a statement yesterday, the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, that's for Lagos State, Gbenga Monsosho, has said that his remarks amounted to emotional theatrics aimed at just misleading the public through misinformation. Though Obi during his visit had praised the traders for their restraint, insisting that the demolished buildings had approvals, describing the exercise as a test of impunity, justice and compassion. But definitely the commissioner had dismissed enforcement to go ahead with that. And he further clarified that the board of the trade fair complex, which is a creation of the federal government, lacked powers to grant building approvals to regulate physical development within the complex. Saifwad.
See, Lady Mo, you permit me to explain a few things here, because This is a very sensitive matter. Now there's a problem here, and there's a disconnect from the initial statement of the Lagos State government to the response of the commissioner to what Obi has said, and again to also explaining to Mr. Peter Obi what the law says about building permits. This is the reality. Again, I think the Tūfē complex in itself is on the federal government land. You know, we used to have federal government presence in Lagos. So you have places like Festac, Satellite Town, Ikoyi, Yaba, Ikeja GRA. But the right to, you can buy a land from the federal government under what they call the FAC and the federal government arrangement.
Right.
But you understand. In fact, even when you get your C of O from the federal government, you still have to come and regularize in Lagos State to get Lagos State documents before you can be granted building permits to build on the whole, remodel it and rebuild it. I don't know whether the building, anything has happened on the building now. The Lagos State government frustrated that attempt by not giving building permit to that buyer. That's to show you the power the state government has got when it comes to building. It is domiciled at the state level. They are the only ones that can issue a building permit. That said, Lydimo, Obi had come with Barry Day and some other politicians, Victor Ome, to show them the solidarity with their people. You know, whether you like it or not, most of the businesses going on in that place are by the Igbos in Lagos. So I don't see anything wrong in Obi coming to Lagos to show solidarity with his people who have lost investment and all of that. But I think we should be careful to over-politicize it, number one. Then this is the issue, again, Lady Mo. Then the Motosho is saying that, look, document. Lady Mo, does this align with the initial statement from the Lagos State government that those buildings were demolished because they were blocking drainages and have become an environmental problem?
That was.
You don't understand? If you are saying now that you gave them the opportunity to get the right document, so what it means is that you are demolishing because they didn't come and get the document, not because it was an environmental problem. You don't understand what I'm saying.
Conflicting reasons.
Look,
here.
This is it. If you say you are demolishing, it means that look, you cannot even regularize because you have violated extant laws and it has become an environmental problem. Maybe you are blocking drainages, you are blocking canal, pathway to water to flow, you were forcing documents on that property. So what it means is that look, you are demolishing because they did not come and regularize their document. Can't you seal up the property and then force them to get the document?
Document, right.
Rather than demolishing. You don't understand what I'm saying. If it's about document, why not to demolish? What then is the justification for the demolition if it's about document?
If it's not threatening the safety of the environment.
That's what I'm saying, because the initial impression they gave to us, Lagos State, when they were demolishing, was that they were demolishing because there was a problem with those buildings. So why don't seal the place? Why don't you demolish?
Sorry for it.
Because if you seal the place and you don't have access to the place, they were supposed to come and do the right document.
Right. I hope we get that clarification and are able to resolve it, because I mean, buildings are already been demolished. Property.
You should know that they are talking to intelligent people.
Quickly, The Guardian also reported the visit of the Yoruba Nation activist Sunday Adeyemo to the Olubadan of Ibadan, the newly Olubadan of Ibadan, Barashidi Adewolu Ladoja, yesterday. They held a closed-door meeting. And of course, at the Bodija residence, promising the Olubadan promising to intervene over his travails. According to the statement, on Monday, the meeting lasted for like 40 minutes, and issues ranging from Obaladoja also promised to intervene in the current travails faced by Igboho regarding his declaration as a wanted person by the federal government and the embargo on his bank account and all of that. Igboho also congratulated the Oba and all that. I think that was just the summary of the 40 minutes closed-door meeting that they held yesterday. Sorry for any comment on that?
Igboho still has a lot of issues to sort out, even though he has his freedom now, you know, but I think his bank accounts, he's still under, I think he's still being declared as a wanted, or he still has a lot of issues around him. And meeting Obaladoja, well, whether the Olubadan or the new Olubadan would have enough influence. help solve his problems. So
right, that's in the Guardian. Also, the front page, we have pro plot to fleece Osun local governments of 12.75 billion naira. PDP tells IGP and EFCC. Page 3 captures that in the Guardian. And also, we always have, and we had a congratulatory message on the Nigerians National Day celebration by His Excellency Senator Abdulaziz Yari Abubakar. Just quickly before we go ahead, we have a statement from the Senate President saying that more opposition people are still going to be received by the APC ahead of the 2027 presidential.
More
opposition governors, rather.
Who are the people left in the opposition? So that we can begin to speculate. Because if the Senate President is telling the President, assuring the President, unless the President is really, but I'm sure he will not be, he's not playing with the President.
He said,
Mr. President, go and keep your mind at rest. We have performed well. In fact, in his own analysis, that is Senate President, so the performance of the President is the reason why the opposition governors cannot remain in their party. What do you expect from the Senate President?
What would you have said?
Look, and that's why we're talking about this at democracy. Do you know that even though we're too young to understand the real things that happened in the Second Republic, but from documented evidence, from books, and from some of the narrations somebody like me got from my grandfather, at that time, political parties even had ideology. You could say that, look, the party of Awolowo, when it comes to an issue, this is the way they will go. The party of Azikwe, when it comes to an issue, this is the way they will go. Amadu Bello, even at that point, there were still ideologies guiding political parties. Look at him, and we are glorifying it. We are happy, celebrating nonsense in our democracy.
All is well.
That more governors are still coming. More governors are still coming, and we should celebrate that and be happy about our democracy.
We have to go, Saifa. Thank you very much. Anyway, that's from the Guardian, Vanguard rather, newspaper. And also the Vanguard captures that the death of Arise TV anchor Tochukwu jumped from third floor. Contrary to the earlier reports, we're circulating that it was via gunshot or something and all of that. And also, Tinubu not jittery about opposition. That's from Presidency, from the Vanguard.
When more governors are still coming, why will we
and then opposition leaders and others take Tinubu to task. That's on page 5 in the Vanguard newspaper. Amechi Obi Utomi Ezekwesili pushed to end courtroom democracy. Page 8 captures that. Obi, Lagos State government, the favored trade fair complex demolition. We also have that on the front page. And this says Iyaloja General is alien to us. That's from Oba of Benin. Page 12 captures that from the Vanguard. And that's all we have this morning. Thank you very much, Said Fuad, for your time. Really appreciate it. To come back for Mail and Focus.
I think it's open mic Thursday, right?
Yes, it's open mic Thursday.
Okay.
You're at liberty to choose what you want to talk